Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx home with the Mischief Makers, and today we're looking at Halloween Ends. So we're here, guys. It's the end. It's the end of this Blumhouse trilogy for the Halloween movies. Now, I enjoyed the 2018 movie, Halloween, which is a sequel to John Carpenter's original Halloween, which came out in the 70s. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great spiritual sequel to the original. It had a lot of the elements I liked. Michael Myers is great, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidating and dominating and powerful and brutal. It's great seeing Jamie Lee Curtis again as Laurie Strode. Not a perfect, great story, but a great start to the Halloween trilogy, and in my opinion, would have been a great one-off movie to the original, like a sequel, just to end it. Because the way this film ends for me, with the one-on-one between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and the way it ends with the burning house, it would have been great. But obviously, Halloween Kills came along and set things up for the third one, but really, they should have just ended it with the 2018 one. Now, Halloween Kills is very divisive. It split people apart, and I was one of the ones that liked him. I liked Michael Myers' little rampage through Haddonfield. I liked all the deaths. It was dumb as anything with the evil dies tonight and Tommy and the townspeople. But when you watch a film and you just kind of like skip through those parts, then I know it's not a perfect film, but I liked it. It's a decent sequel to the original. And the way it ends with like Michael Myers getting his ass kicked and that resurrection scene, he's killing everyone, and then he ends up killing Laurie Strode's daughter in the Michael Myers house. That was great. So it set everything up for the last in the installment, the Halloween Ends. And did it deliver? No, it didn't. Now I've got to mention, I stayed away from all trailers, all marketing, and that includes magazine, YouTube reviews, everything. I went into this as blind as you could get. So I wanted to go in with a fresh mind, but all I could see from early reviews on YouTube, you can't miss it, you're just scrolling down Instagram, these things pop up, was, you would never expect this. No one saw this coming. So I was thinking, what the hell do they mean? Like, no one saw this coming. So I thought maybe it was a dream sequence or some strange, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was trying to watch this film work out what they were trying to do. And when I figured out what they were trying to do, I was just like, no, what are you doing? But before I go into any of that, you're probably thinking, Joe, there must have been something you liked about this film. And I did. I liked the opening 10 minutes. It was cool, very unexpected. You think you're gonna get your typical babysitter at home and it's and they're gonna get killed, but that doesn't happen. That was a cool first 10 minutes. Seeing Jamie Lee Curtis back in her role as Laurie Strode was great. The cinematography was really good, and I liked the music. So these people on the screen, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? Why did they think this was going to be the perfect end to this Blumhouse trilogy that would make the a quadrology, if you want to call it, from the beginning to end? Well, they sat down in a room and thought this is what people wanted. And my God, they got it so wrong. See, I knew I was in a little bit of trouble in that first scene. The first scene happens, which again I mentioned I liked, and then it kind of goes into the Halloween music, and that's cool. Like, it was like the Halloween intro to Pumpkins. That's always a cool thing to see. And then after that goes into Laurie Strode almost recapping the previous two films, kind of like Friday the 13th, like in the sequel. I think Friday the 13th Part 2 or 3. That'd be like these really stupid montages, and I was thinking, oh no, this isn't good. It's almost like they're trying to fill time. And then they showed one newspaper strip which was showing what happened between Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills, and one of them said Myers plane's destroyed, and I was like, no, oh no, this is some Prometheus action going on here. If you don't know what I mean by that, Prometheus set up all this stuff and Alien Covenant didn't deliver. So in Halloween terms, they set up this whole, why does Michael Myers stare out the window? Like, what is he looking at? He's looking through a dark void? Is that how he gets his evil? Is there something that only he can see? But they destroyed the house and took away that mystery. So I was thinking, okay, it looks like they're kind of not going with a supernatural Michael Myers route, because maybe people had a problem. And then they kind of don't explain the daughter's death. So, and again, ironically, As the film opens, it's Laurie Strode. You feel like she's recapping the films, and you see she's writing a book, but she's got to the end of the book and she can't think of a decent ending. And that's kind of like a metaphor for this film, because I can imagine all those writers in the room trying to figure out how to end this, and they why? But anyway, when you meet or reintroduce to Laurie Strode and Allison, is Allison her name? I'm gonna check for a second. Yes, Allison was her name. Allison playing the granddaughter to Jamie Lee Curtis. They're completely different people. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis from the first two films has become way too laid back. And it's not like they killed Michael Myers in the second one. He got away. He killed her daughter. He's hiding. So you'd think, oh, I need to be more like defensive, more bigger structures, more traps. But no, she's like, hey everyone, I got a cherry pie on Halloween. My daughter died. Huh. That was a day. And then you got Allison, who's turned into a nymphomaniac who'd probably sleep with Ted Bundy. But I'm pretty good at piecing films together, especially horrors. And when I heard the phrase, like I mentioned earlier, you will not expect this, I knew what they were getting at pretty early on. And that's with the character of Courtney. Is it Courtney? Courtney Cunningham is his name. At first I thought it was the Happy Days. like the multiverse, like the Fonz versus Michael Myers. But that wasn't it, unfortunately. That'd have been so much better, the Fonz versus Michael Myers. Someone needs to make that. But anyway, you got this character, Courtney Cunningham, who we saw at the beginning of the film. He ends up accidentally killing a child he's babysitting. Doesn't do time for it. I think it was just a bad accident. But he's like taken over as the new boogeyman, the new person everyone sort of resents in town, because Michael Myers isn't around anymore. It's everyone just antagonized this guy. So he's bullied by everyone, and there's these, but I'm gonna get into it later, but these bullies, American bullies, wouldn't last 2 seconds in UK schools, especially these ones. That's nothing again. I can guarantee there's probably some tough people in American schools, but those are not. But like, please, if you're from America, let me know in the comments. And those what bullies like in America, because that can't be true, because they'll get their asses kicked in UK schools. People, even the ones that are like, I played the banjo in music class, will be like, they're not going to take crap off them. Don't know why the banjo. I don't think we even teach the banjo in UK schools, but you get my drift. But anyway, you got this guy called Courtney, and everyone doesn't like him, and he works on this like car yard place. I don't know, like a car yard. That's what I'm going to call it. Normally would have dogs running around in films, but he was wearing the same work uniform as Michael Myers. And I was thinking, oh, they're going to make him like the new killer, and somehow he's going to take the mantle of Michael Myers. And I was right. I did think Allison might be a bit crazy because of how her personality had changed so much, but given a bit more time, I was like, okay, they're making this Courtney dude the new Michael Myers of this universe. And then Courtney and Allison meet, and this is where the film becomes Twilight. If Halloween was made by the people that made the Twilight films, this is what they would have made. It was just boring as anything. Them riding this motorbike, kind of like the scene with Edward jumping through the trees in Twilight. That's what it reminded me of. I was thinking, no one's died yet apart from this little boy. Where's Michael Myers? And we meet Michael Myers. Michael Myers is met 40 minutes into the film, and he's living in what I can only describe as, I don't know, I think he was looking for somewhere to hide, and he met Pennywise, and Pennywise was like,
Hiya, Michael. Why don't you stay in my place for a while? Gee, Pennywise, that's really nice of you.
yeah, apparently Michael Myers is living in Pennywise's home for 3 years, and he's a weak old man that makes no sense, because he was a weak old man in the asylum, but yet he was strong enough without his first kill to kill a bunch of cops, people in the first film. And then he's strong enough to go on a rampage in Halloween Kills, gets his ass kicked by about 25 townspeople, comes back alive, kills them all, including Laurie's daughter. And in this one, he is an old feeble man living in a cave that can get pushed over by a boy that gets pushed over by the 4 worst bullies I've ever seen in my life. They make Michael Myers look like a wimp. They completely destroy this terrifying like shape they'd created in the original. He just becomes, he literally becomes a pushover. And when a film does this, when they make a Michael Myers or Jason or Hellraiser, for example, Pinhead, when you start to humanize them, make them real, they become less impulsive. Impulsive, is that a word? They become less threatening, because it's like Scream. When they wear the mask, they're these super powerful things, like murderers, and when you take the mask off, they become just a man, and they become weak. And that's what they've done here with Michael Myers. And I was just like, oh my god, like, it's 40 minutes in, we've just met him, he's an old man living in Pennywise's home. When's the killing gonna start? And it happens pretty much straight after Courtney meets Pennywise. Courtney is pushed over this little bridge by the bullies, the biggest, baddest bullies of all time. Then he's dragged into Pennywise's home, where he meets Michael, and Michael grabs him, and I don't know what happens. Well, I kind of think I know what happens. Like, the transference of evil is transferred to Courtney, because he can see everything Courtney's done and can see his potential as a killer, and lets him go. What? Michael would never do this to anyone in the past. Like, I think he did it in Halloween Kills in that opening montage in the 70s, when that little kid is like going, help, and he lets him run away because he sees the Myers house. But yeah, he lets Courtney go. Courtney, this just constantly grinning on his motorbike dude, drove me nuts. And then he leaves the Pennywise's home. He stabs this poor tramp that lives outside Michael Myers' home. Stabs him 3 times, kills him. Yeah, and that's the first kill in the film by Courtney. And then there's other things going on in the film. So you got, like, Laurie Strode trying to move on with things, writing this book that describes her story with Michael. Got this really cheesy relationship with this police officer who annoyed me because it was just terribly written. The dialogue's terrible, by the way, in this film. And then that's really it. So Laurie's doing all of that, then worrying about Courtney because he has the same eyes, doll's eyes. That's Jaws. But you know what I mean. He sees Courtney as the next Michael, and he wants to get Allison away from her, but Allison's stupid now, and she wants to be with Courtney, and Courtney's like, oh, I'm gonna cry and get pushed over by bullies, and then I'm a badass man, I can push over Michael Myers and take his mask, which actually happens. And then Courtney and Michael Myers team up in a weird, what the hell, Batman Robin way, and they go around killing people together, and Michael Myers is doing this whole, like, you know what it reminded me of? When Michael Myers killed that policeman that was stalking Laurie, or obsessed with Laurie. That was weird, wasn't it? How old is he? About 50? But anyway, when he gets killed, you know when Thanos gets one of the Infinity Stones, puts it in, and he starts going, Rrrr! The purple light's really helping the Thanos effect right now. But you know when he puts it on and his whole body starts to shake, that's what Michael Myers reminded me of. He stabbed this policeman and he was like, Rrrr! One more, Courtney. Now I click my fingers and half of Haddonfield is gone. But yeah, Courtney does most of the kills. Courtney has the strength of Michael Myers, and is that because of the supernatural element, which they never explain, which they set up in the sequel? Like I said, Prometheus set up something, don't follow it up in the sequel, just kind of like, I don't know, forget it happened. It was stupid. So Courtney goes around murdering people, and this is the problem. They murder people that you want to see die. Whereas that isn't really what Halloween does. Halloween gets people killed that you like. In the original, you have Laurie Strode's friends, likable people, all killed. Halloween Kills, Tommy annoyed me, but none of them really deserved to die, and yet they did. But in this film, they just set up these people to die. So, Allison's boss and co-worker, Dix, so they're murdered. DJ, Dick, so he's murdered. Courtney's mum, really weird Norman Bates kind of thing going on, murdered. The bullies, of course, I wanted to see them dead if I'm honest, but murdered. There was no one, you're not on Courtney's side because you don't want to see him as the big bad of this film. And the kills aren't even great. Now I think about it, most of the kills are off screen or blurred out in the background. That one in the DJ booth for the DJ and he gets his jaw ripped off and the tongue's going around, that's the only good one. But everything else was pretty tame. And it's during one of these kills that Courtney's like, my hand, it's healing itself. I'm killing people and now I'm starting to heal. There must be something to do with Michael. And And it must be to do with his mask. And it's like, I don't think so, because that makes no sense. And I like the little clown scarecrow mask that Courtney was wearing. But he wanted Michael's, so he went into Pennywise's home once more and pushed Michael around, as mentioned, like he was a 102-year-old man who never killed someone or overpowered anyone or murdered anyone in their entire life. And he steals the mask. Then Michael Myers kind of does that whole sitting up thing. And then Courtney goes to kill Laurie. He fails. He kills himself because he wants Allison. Laurie doesn't want him to have Allison, so he kills himself because if he can't have her, no one can. And then once that happens, Michael Myers breaks him, takes his mask back, and has what I can only describe as a really alcoholic couple having a fight over who's having the last piece of casserole. And Michael Myers gets his absolute ass kicked. He gets pinned to the table with his knives, you know, and has his throat slit and his arms slit. I'm very good with thinking of new words. And they then put him on the top of a police car, to parade through town. Did anyone get Spider-Man 2 vibes when Tobey Maguire was getting passed over the people in the train? I was thinking that it's like they praise Michael. And then they take him to that car garage place that Courtney worked in, and then threw him in this grinder, like for cars, and he gets mushed to pieces. And Jodie Foster? Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Lois Strode, is like, well, what am I going to choose? Like, cherry blossoms? I'm like, shut up, yeah, cherry blossom too. She finishes the book. The policeman's outside with this, I was thinking of you, so I bought you some carrots. Okay, that makes sense. He puts the carrots, they go for a little walk. I can't even remember, because by that time, I was just like, there better be some twist. There better be some like Jason jumping at the boat, or in this case, Michael Myers jumping at the basket, going, you like carrots? And pulling them both into the basket like Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know what I'm talking about now. But anything would have been better. What I just said, but it was better than how the film ended. And it ended. And it was awful. I was left with an empty feeling. And when the film ended, there was two films in particular that this film reminded me of. Jason Goes to Hell, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the fifth Friday the 13th, the one where it's set in that crazy home with the kids, and Jason isn't the killer. Because with films like Michael Myers, you want him to have a good send-off. You introduce him 40 minutes in, he kills two people. He kills Courtney, who's already dead, and he breaks his neck, and he kills the policeman. Compared to kills, Michael Myers, I probably killed. No, I haven't killed anyone. It was a terrible, terrible conclusion. And what I was going with the Friday the 13th thing was, in Jason Goes to Hell, they introduced so many elements that Jason could be passed on from person to person, which made Jason and who he is redundant. Like, is Jason the evil one, or is it just, can it be passed? Can it be anyone? That really dumbed down that character in that film, and done the same thing here with the whole duality with Courtney being passed on. Had they maybe introduced Courtney in earlier films, bled him through, had a little connection with Allison, because she liked him way too quick, like I was trying to mention earlier, but got distracted. But had they bled him through, maybe Michael Myers come across him, didn't murder him, and you're probably thinking, why did he let him go? And then you see the third one, like, he should have been spliced in. And then had he taken over as the new Michael at the end, but Michael had died, but Courtney had lived, and he became the new Boogeyman? I don't know how you say it. There's so many ways. That would have been more pleasing, but no, they got no balls, essentially. They just gave us an idea, a half-assed idea, and don't really go all the way with it. And people just wanted to see a brutal last outing for Michael Myers, and if he did get killed, like, just in a more satisfying way than he was. He just went out like damn punk. If anyone likes this film, it's absolutely fine, because this might be your first Halloween experience. But if it is, check out the original, of course, and There are other better ones. It's just so annoying because we're probably not going to get another film like this for another 10 years. They really, really, really screwed up with this film. And yeah, there's nothing redeemable. It's boring, nothing happens, and as mentioned, disappointing ending, and a terrible conclusion to the Blumhouse Halloween trilogy. And it's on that note that I'm going to give Halloween Ends 1 out of 5 geeky coins. So guys, that was my review of Halloween Ends. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film we've ever seen? Comment into the comments to let me know, because I genuinely am interested. And if you like this video, drop me those likes because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.